series, and we're focused today on physical health for physical activity for heart health. I'm going to allow Nishat to introduce South Asian Care and talk a little bit more about their mission, what they stand for, and how they contribute to the South Asian community for a little bit. So Nishat, you can go ahead and talk a little bit about yourself and South Asian Care.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Hiba. Hey, everyone. For those of you joining this series or for our events for the first time, my name is Nisha Dudeen, founder and CEO of South Asian Care. Thank you all so much for being here today. I'm really excited for you to join along for this session. As a South Asian woman navigating healthcare, both personally, professionally, I saw kind of the gaps in responsive healthcare, and that's what really inspired me to create South Asian Care. I hold a master's in public health and have spent years working in health communications, health advocacy, just to create a more equitable space for our community. Our mission is really rooted in addressing the cultural barriers that often impact the South Asian community, and that they often prevent people from receiving quality care. So we work to increase visibility and representation of compassionate care providers while also empowering your community with trusted, culturally relevant health information and resources. So, in addition to events like this, on our website, you can also find provider directories, other resource materials that are tailored to the health and well-being of our community. So, we're really glad you're here, and we hope today sparks some meaningful conversations and connections. And I'll pass it back to you, Hippa.
Thank you so much for sharing, Nishat. It's actually amazing that South Asian Care exists as a networking and like essentially mentoring platform for South Asians. So we're really grateful for that. I'd like to move forward and introduce SAHHI, which stands for South Asian Heart Health Initiative. Um, my name is Hiba Siddiqui, and I serve as the CEO or the Chief Executive Officer, and I'm also a co-founder alongside Sahini, who will introduce herself shortly after me. A little bit about me is that I am a graduate of Benedictine University with a Bachelor's of Science in Health Science and a minor in Medical Spanish Interpretation. I work currently at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and Harvard Medical School, where I research bladder and prostate cancer. I'm very passionate about merging science with community impact, and I've organized several national workshops on preventive health, and I've published articles on health equity in South Asian Herald and spoken at conferences. My leadership has earned recognition such as the Community Service Award at my university, and I'm also a member of the board of directors for the Massachusetts Association for Women in Science. My vision for SAHI stems from my belief that prevention begins with culturally resonant education. And through the summer series, I aim to empower South Asian families and anyone interested in holistic wellness with practical evidence-based tools for lifelong heart health. I'll allow Sahini to introduce herself and then talk a little bit about SAHI after that.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sahini Ramaneni. I also graduated from Benedictine University with HIBA. I am the Chief Operations Officer and co-founder of SAHI. A little bit about me is that I will be attaining my master's this next week in child and adolescent psychology. I am on the route of attaining a Doctor of Clinical Psychology degree. So my long-term goal is to be a pediatric psychologist. A big moving point to when I wanted to take part in the South Asian Heart Health Initiative is to be able to communicate and stand up for the underserved communities around us. As someone that is a huge advocate of mental health, especially in pediatrics, one thing I always want to do is decrease the stigma and bias and stereotypes around mental health within our community. And the South Asian Heart Health Initiative definitely helps me with that professional goal of mine, but also allows me and pushes me to create community and environment and allow our audience to understand that relation between mental health and heart health. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
Sorry.
You're
Yeah,
good.
a little bit about SAHI is that, like Sahini said, we do promote preventive heart health education through various mediums, with one of them being mental health advocacy, but also through nutrition advocacy, fitness advocacy, as we're going to be talking about today, as well as physiological understanding and awareness. These are some of our featured instructors and speakers for the series. We heard from Dr. Rich Chaudhry and Akshita Nayak last session, and this session we'll be hearing from Mr. Kunal Makwana and Susruth Machikatla. A little bit of an overview of this session, super quick, is that we're going to have a mini icebreaker activity. We'll have our first session where Mr. Kunal will be talking a little bit about his background and physical activity in the South Asian community. And then our second portion of the session will be a cardio session, interactive course by our instructor. And then we're going to wrap up and talk a little bit about our next sessions following. All right, a short icebreaker that we want to get people thinking about is we want you guys to share how you stay active and engaged in physical activity and, maybe share your favorite form of physical activity. In the South Asian community, as we're going to learn soon, there is somewhat of a stigma on physical health. There's not really as much of an involvement in physical activities as there should be. And it's important for us to kind of gauge like where we are currently with our physical health and what we are doing currently to stay active. So please feel free to, type in the chat or unmute to share your responses, and even from the speakers and some of our, esteemed individuals as well who are here to speak today. We'd love to hear from you as well.
I guess I'll go first. For me, I guess growing up was always going to the gym. Even now, it's still the one. You guys call it soccer, but I love playing football over here in England, which was one of my favorite. But yeah, and cricket, which is what you guys would call baseball potentially. But yeah, cricket, football, and then the gym for me.
Yeah, of course. I feel like sports are like the easiest way, in my opinion, to stay involved in physical activity just because they're so engaging. You have a goal that you're working toward, and at the same time, you're essentially, getting your workout in for the day. I'd say for me personally, it would definitely just be like going on a walk or like going on a run outside. It's actually really nice out because it's June and July, and it's a great time to go out and, even go swimming, the beach. That's definitely counts as physical activity for sure. So if there's no other responses, we'll move forward and begin our first session.
I guess I'll go real quick before we move on. But we were kind of talking about this at the beginning that a big thing for me, I'll be honest and I'll say used to be dance. Dance was definitely one of like my biggest and most favorite ways to like stay engaged. I did always kind of struggle with just like the basic stereotypes of being a short girl that is skinny. But I know that I always had to find that motivation, and it just really came through like my culture and what I truly physically enjoyed doing. So both my worlds colliding, I guess.
And that's exactly why we have our Bollywood fusion class today as well, to combine those passions.
I can also second dance as my favorite form of dance, favorite form of physical activity. Grew up dancing, was in dance teams, throughout college, and so anytime I try to take dance classes or just kind of incorporate in my daily day. I think it's a good like stress reliever for me.
No, yeah, of course. Thank you so much for sharing. It's great to like, obviously cultural influences play such a big role in the way that we, do daily activities like physical activities. If dance is a part of your culture and, what you've grown up with and part of, I guess your community, that's definitely a great way to stay involved. So. Moving forward, I'm going to introduce Mr. Kunal Makwana. He is our speaker for the day, the first speaker. He's a personal trainer, physical or fitness expert who can discuss the connection between physical activity and cardiovascular health. Some of his discussion topics, as he's going to share soon as well, is going to be how heart health contributes to physical activity and what types of exercises are most beneficial in this regard. Also how traditional forms of exercise can be used to be culturally relevant in physical fitness, and also talk a little bit about his own personal background and journey with fitness growing up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop share and I'm going to take a moment to give Mr. Makwana host permissions to be able to speak, and that'll take me just a moment. Okay. There we go. Hopefully that should have worked out seamlessly. And Mr. Makwana, you have the floor.
Perfect. Appreciate the introduction as well, guys. So I'll give a brief background into obviously what we do, who I am as well. And I'm also going to link it to Amar, who works with us guys, and we'll kind of discuss exactly what K-Meds and why we're trying to tackle, obviously, the South Asian health as well, to a large extent. So let me just get this presentation going. Any questions, obviously, just feel free to obviously interrupt or put in the chat, and I'll try and answer as well. So who are we? Basically, it's me, Kunal. I basically built this business called K-Man Fitness. My background's actually in sports psychology. So when I grew up, I always wanted to be an athlete. Unfortunately, as a South Asian, I just didn't feel like I had the genetics. And I was like, okay, cool. But I didn't want to go through the natural path, which was, as a typical South Asian, which is like either be a doctor, dentist, accountant, lawyer. I always wanted to be in sports somehow. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go to college. And my actual background was in sports psychology, so my undergrad. And at that point, I started to understand the science really, really well. And I was like, let me attempt it with myself. So I transformed my own physique. I think I lost like 25 pounds at that time. And then I helped another person at the gym. And back when Snapchat, I think, used to be really, really famous, I used to upload every day, like my food in there. And I remember people were just like, what are you eating? Can you help me? Can you help me with this? And I used to like at college campuses, people would like stop me and be like, hey, I need help from you. And that's when I decided, I was like, I think I want to be a coach. Fast forward 2017 is when I actually got into the industry, and I've been doing it ever since then as well. But what made me kind of start K-Man Fitness? We started the business in 2020. We've worked with over 3,000 South Asians over the last 5 years. Amar being one of them, actually. He'll showcase his pictures in his slides anyway. But our goal is to really focus on South Asians only. So 90, I'd say 90, over 95% of our clients are South Asian. But through referrals, we'll still work with other people as well. And then the mission is really empower South Asians with sustainable health in the long run, whilst also tackling things from a cultural perspective, which I'll get into as well. So our purpose, you may have seen it in the previous slide, which said one person, one family, one generation. That's our mission. So we work with a lot of, parents. We work with a lot of, parents with newborns, new kids. And one of our goals was, we know that you being a parent would impact your future kids. And this is Pooja and Monique. They lost combined like 100 pounds with us guys. And, they brought their kids to the photo shoot. We've met their kids before, and we know that we're going to have a huge impact on those guys. So it's one of the reasons for our mission statement right there as well. But our vision, really simple. It's we want to help South Asians, create a healthier lifestyle and get healthier without really abandoning the culture. So you don't want to, go to your mom's house potentially and be like, yeah, I'm not going to have rice because I'm on a fitness program. Right? Like rice is a big staple for South Asians in general, but we want to kind of keep a close eye on that. Like if you're Indian, Hindu, you celebrate Diwali, for example, you're going to want to have some sort of sweets during that timeline. We want to kind of help you navigate that as well. The other thing is obviously we want to make fitness accessible, easy for busy professionals, and we cater towards busy professionals as well. I mean, Amar has met, several of our clients over the last 3 years, and, a lot of them are, working 80, 100-hour work weeks. They've got kids, they're really, really busy, time poor, and we want to help those guys out and take care, of themselves and also future generations as well. And obviously, lastly, we don't want to focus on anything with crash diets, fad diets, and that's something I've done in the past with myself, made mistakes. And with those mistakes, we realized, actually, I can't, we can't do the same thing with our clients as well. So that was a huge thing. Now, why focus on South Asians? Now, obviously, with this talk being all around South Asians, and it's funny because we work generally with South Asians, and this is something that we're really, really passionate with in terms of long-term health. Amar will dive deep into the science as well. So, but a couple of things why we focus on it. So growing up myself, I didn't see a lot of South Asians transform, right? I think we were always okay with, if you had like, let's say you're slightly overweight, it didn't really matter. I remember growing up, I used to hear like aunties talking about the pills they'd be on and almost celebrate it. It was quite weird when you think about it. Like, yeah, I'm on this, I'm on this. How many pills do you take? I take 5 a day. And it's like, it was very weird from like, it felt like a competition, which shouldn't really. So if you look at the stats, like South Asians were more likely to develop like 2 to 4 times more likely to type 2 diabetes. 50% of South Asian heart attacks occur before the age of 50. I'm 30 years old right now. So if I don't take care of myself within the next 20 years, I'm more at risk for so many other things just beyond heart attacks, right? So that's the reason why we're really, really, really passionate as well. There's great research in terms of we actually hold more visceral fat in general. And Amr is going to dive deep into that. This is something that's interesting as well. You look at South Asian right now, they may not necessarily train, they may not take care of their health. They may be quite lean. However, metabolically, there's loads of things going on. Funny enough, they could also end up having heart disease or type 2 diabetes. We actually dealt with that with a client the other day. And we call this term skinny fat. But we dealt with a client and they literally mentioned the exact same thing. You wouldn't think I've got a problem, I've got this going on, that going on, that going on. And it's scary, right? So we want to be at the forefront of taking care of this as well. Common deficiencies, typically in things like B12, iron, in vegetarian diets, but also what we consume on a regular basis as well, right? Like a lot of the times, there isn't actual nutrition involved. Like growing up, I remember, for me, my mom used to tell me dal, is really, really good. Technically, dal is good, but she'd be like, it's really high in protein. You'd believe that. And there's people right now that still believe dal is really high in protein. It's a great, actual food, but it's not super, super high in protein. And then lastly, also the stigma growing up, most people, even I say growing up myself, but even people right now, that we see with our current clients that would have around the weight, food guilt, the mental health. It's a really, really, really big topic at the moment as well. Like for me growing up, fitness, I didn't see anyone else in my family getting into the gym or being in fitness, including cousins. I was one of the first ones. So I remember my stigma used to be like, oh, can I want to eat this, or can I want to do this, or can I people would talk for me versus me being in control of that. It was a very interesting topic. And it's funny now, I've got 6 to 7 of my own cousins into fitness. And they'll come and talk to me about it. But back then, 87 years ago, no one cared. It would be like, yeah, Kunal's on a fitness plan. He won't talk about it. He won't do this. He won't do that. But there's current stigmas right now that even I'd say our clients go through. And it's beyond just hey, you're in a caloric deficit. There's actually challenges around, whether if they live with their families or mom-in-laws, or if they're married, newly married, there's so many things happening as well, which is why we do focus on South Asians. So how does our program currently work as well? So we focus on, let's say you inquire, there'll be an assessment kind of form. Then we have a call to determine whether you'd be good fit. At that point, we determine what sort of program would be right for you. So we've also got another program which is involving Amr, which Amr will get into. And then we dissect everything within fitness. So we go through full 360. We focus on nutrition, the fitness side of things, and accountability is a really big deal alongside the community as well. Why do we have that? Is because we don't want to take away anything, from we don't want to just do training only, because we realize in order to change, we need to include nutrition. In order to also, if we want people to build muscle and therefore also live longer, training is a big deal. And we believe that with accountability. And if you cannot connect that with community and you make lifelong friends on the journey, it's a game changer as well. So brief kind of intro to what we do. For people listening to this as well, I don't want to bombard you guys with too many tips, but these are few tips right now that I think you can really implement ASAP, which I believe will help you, just be better overall. So number one would be aim for 10K steps a day. Now, again, everyone lives in different places, and sometimes if you live in Texas, I realize it's way harder to get 10K steps in. But if you can aim to get 10K steps in, it's amazing for your mental health, but also cardiovascular health and overall health as well. The other one would be aiming to get at least 3 to 4 strength training sessions per week, if possible. Now, of course, you may not know what to do. I would always advise, if you're new to the gym, you always get, I believe, even in the States and even here in the UK, there's always a few training sessions you end up getting for free. And it's always a great way to just understand equipment, understand exercise, And I guarantee you, like, I've never had anyone who's got into strength training in their lives and regretted it, to this day. And I've known a lot of people who've got into it. Now, of course, there's different vectors once you get into fitness. It could be like one of our coaches is like she's competing high rocks. One does like tough mudders, one does like marathons. So you can then go into different realms of fitness as well. But I do believe like strength training is beneficial towards longevity and later as you get older, we tend to lose more muscle tissue. So you want to build more muscle tissues in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, because it's just really, really crucial as well. The other one will be trying to incorporate protein in your nutrition. Now, the easiest thing to do right now, like without giving some sort of numbers away or whatever, but it would be aim to consume protein right now in every meal you eat. So if you just try that out for the next like couple of days, you'll notice that you're a lot fuller. If you're a snacker, you may not even snack as much just by the virtue of increasing your protein intake as well. And then I have a rule which I've called the rule of 300. As long as you're consistent over 300 days of the year, you will be in better shape than the previous year. Because typically within those 65 days, there's always going to be vacations, birthdays, you're traveling, work events, cultural events, whatever's going on, Christmas. Well, you just got to focus on like, how can I be as consistent and not chase perfectionism? So, if you've had a bad, let's say today, bad Wednesday, Thursday, and you're like, damn, actually, you know what? I'm going to start on Monday. No, you still got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to really perfect things as well. So really, 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 really important as well. If you incorporate this, I guarantee there'll be some sort of change, physically and I think mentally, especially with steps. I know Amar can kind of speak on steps in a minute as well, which would help. So how do we tackle things like mindset and cultural shift? So we've got coaches within our team. We've also like Archie over here is a mom of two. She's dealt things from a family expectations perspective, and being the daughter-in-law. So she completely gets it, and as well as that, got into fitness, and it's quite cool to see what we can do with our coaches as well at the same time. So we discuss this quite often, within the community as well. Like I think 2 months ago, we brought a guy in called Uncle, who was actually from Brahman Therapy. And we discussed like the stigma in the South Asian culture with health, with fitness, and just generally talking as well. We focus on ditching the all or nothing mentality. So our program isn't geared towards like a quick fix, or in fact, we actually say no to those people. We actually rejected 2 people today just by the virtue of them wanting to sign up for 1 month and be like, hey, I think I'm going to be done after that. Because we know that no one ever does anything great in just 1 month alone. You need time. So like, good example, me and Amr have known each other since like really truly since 2022. Right. And his journey's always been like very, very different every single year, right? It's ever evolving. So it's important as well. And then on top of that, we're very big on incorporating like your traditional foods. Now, not every South Asian that we coach also wants traditional foods. But a lot of people who do want traditional foods, we do include it, and we do discuss it within the nutrition as well. And also we give them the license to do what they want with nutrition. So there isn't like a bad food per se. It's very much like you can include this within your nutrition and how we work around that as well. And the goal is, making it seamless to your lifestyle versus changing completely. And then once you do leave K-Man Fitness, it's a big issue long term because you're like, I don't know how to cope with this. So we really want to avoid that and empower our clients with the education that they can have as well. We're also quite big on educational content. IG, we have our own members portal. Here's Amr, basically talking about South Asians and health. We did this podcast in 22 years ago. So me and Amr have been talking about this quite often for a good couple of years. And it's like really good facts. There's also multiple studies now coming out. One of the most famous ones, Amr can quote me on this right now, is the Masala study. As well, there's a few that's happening right now in London, just by the virtue of our population. So it's quite cool to see, and we're understudied actually compared to any other race and ethnicity as well. So we're kind of in a position right now where it's going to be really interesting to see where South Asians take their health within the next 20 to 30 years. And at K-Man Fitness, we want to be at the forefront So there's a lot that we're kind of doing at the moment as well. So, we have weekly community calls. We have educational team members who research papers every single day. And then we're actually launching a science-based podcast at the start of next year in 2026. So there's going to be a lot around just South Asian health in general and dissecting studies through that. Obviously, people have seen through Instagram our results and what we do with current clients. People see the images, so you may see Amra's images here, but there's also like beyond the images, is what we call it, which is, some people, completely reversed their diabetes. We actually had a client yesterday message us, guys, saying, "Hey, my A1C is the lowest it's been in 20 years," and they've only been with us for 5 months. So for us, for me nowadays, it's actually more rewarding than like just seeing someone's abs. I've been sick of that at the moment, but like for me, it's like it's really really cool to see what's happening to them metabolically, because we know that's going to have a huge impact on their lifestyle as well. We also, obviously, we're a UK based company. I'm based in London, but we come over to the US regularly. So the last time I was in the US was in March. We were in Houston, and that's where we held like events. Our goal is to connect community members so they can be friends either for life or just, people have connected. Like we work with right now, we work with over 200 plus physicians, and a lot of the physicians have actually like, become friends and they know each other. It's really 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 cool. Some people have like even started business together. We even know one that's bought like multiple properties together, which is like, pretty cool. So we want to go beyond just like fitness. It's a community and a true community in that as well. As I said, the results. So here bio is here, obviously improved the blood sugar and cholesterol. Nick Hill here, which is down 25 pounds, but also wanted to get in the best shape of his life. Mira is one of my favorite results because she's also got Crohn's as well at the same time, and her Crohn's. I remember one of the check-ins we ever got. She said to me, "Kunal, my doctor said this is the best in 10 years." And she goes, "Just keep doing what you're doing," as well. And she joined us, when she was 6 weeks postpartum. And she's actually one of our sales reps nowadays as well. Tejal here is from Houston. She lost nearly 40 pounds. And I remember getting George, one of our coaches, got an email saying, or a check-in saying like, "My labs are the best it's ever been." And this is something that like we've seen a pattern of, and it's like the pictures are great as you guys can see, but the actual internal is even more powerful for us guys. And also beyond that, all of these guys here have got like kids. So it's really cool to see what they've done, like, in terms of the impact they've had their families and the kids. Like it's truly like transformative as well. So for me, I absolutely love it. Obviously I'm going to plug Amar here as well in a minute. He's going to share his slides, but we decided like basically 2 years ago, I remember me and Amar had a discussion at Alana to go through like in addition, which we've never seen in fitness, and even to this day, there isn't many people in fitness doing this, which is combining like true science and from a cardiologist who's actually been with us. So Amr's, gone through every phase of our program. He's done 2 photo shoots, been in men's health as well at the same time. And for us guys, it was like, we know that works. So we've basically launched this program. We're still in the middle of like going through the trials and tribulations of it, but the goal is really to focus on the biomarkers and improve their bio health in general with our clients. So, taking to even another level. And in the future, we're looking at potentially even like doing studies, the KMAX studies, which would look at the impact of before, once they've joined the program, what they've achieved, and then once they even leave, we still keep a track on them, even a year later, and what the habits look like in the long term. That's something that we're really quite passionate on, especially because we've hired, like I've got 2 coaches who manage our education department now, and there's a lot that we're going to be doing. So obviously stay tuned from that perspective as well. And then obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to connect through. We've got X over here, Instagram, and LinkedIn as well. But let me plug Amar. He's going to be going through his slides right now as well. So let me make him a host. There you go. Go for Amar.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Kunal. So let me just share my slides here. All right. So, all right, can you guys see that okay? All right,
Yep, we
awesome.
can see it fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Amr Shure. I am a preventive cardiologist. I am based in New Jersey, and I recently joined KMAC Fitness as their medical director and heart health coach, and really kind of founded this program that Kunal talked about, the KMED program, which I'll talk a little bit more in detail about. But I'm really passionate about prevention of heart disease, especially in South Asians, and going through KMAC Fitness, I can definitely attest to the KMAC fitness effect, as it really did transform my life. And so, my journey with KMAC Fitness started about 3 years ago with Kunal as my coach. And within 6 months, I got into the best shape of my life. I lost 30 pounds, gained an immense amount of strength. And I think most importantly for me was I reduced my overall risk for heart disease. So I had some abnormal lab values. And really going through this journey kind of opened my eyes as a physician and kind of made me realize what my own patients are going through and what other South Asians are going through. And so I made it really my mission through KMED to educate and empower other South Asians to really take control of their own health and prevent heart disease. And so, why is this so important? I mean, heart disease is, like Kunal mentioned, it's 2 to 4 times higher risk than other ethnic groups. But not even that. South Asians have an increased severity of heart disease at much younger ages. So 50% of heart attacks happen under the age of 50, 25% under the age of 40. And we typically develop heart disease much younger age, about 10 years younger or 10 years earlier than other groups, which is quite alarming. And the reason for this is a multitude of factors, genetic and lifestyle. But one of them that Kunal had mentioned as well, that South Asians often we have a high level of visceral fat. So this is a type of fat that surrounds our internal organs and our abdomen, and we tend to have higher levels even at lower BMI. So you could be a normal, looking individual, normal BMI, but still have a really increased level of visceral fat. And this is really important because this visceral fat is actually linked to things like insulin resistance, which leads to diabetes, increased LDL, which is your bad cholesterol, which tends to promote plaque buildup in your arteries, metabolic disease. And so overall, these are all risk factors for heart disease. And so having higher levels of this is definitely harmful. And so when we talk about risk factors, what are we talking about? So we're talking about these traditional risk factors like age, high blood pressure, high LDL, like I talked about, diabetes, family history of heart disease, smoking. But there's also certain other factors that put individuals at higher risk. So things like being overweight, obese, eating unhealthy, physical inactivity. I think it's super detrimental to your overall health. And I'll kind of talk a little bit more about movement and how just moving more for your body and moving more for your heart is so beneficial. And then also these risk enhancing factors. So, we have these things like kidney disease, metabolic syndrome, and just being South Asian descent actually is a risk enhancing factor. So that's something to be mindful about. So we know heart disease in South Asians is bad. We know we develop it younger and more severe, but what do we do about it? So, the American Heart Association has this fantastic Life Essential 8. So these are essentially the 8, lifestyle habits that have been extensively studied through research to kind of show the protective benefit of heart health and overall wellness. So things like eating healthy, eating more plants, leaner proteins, limiting fried foods, saturated fat, staying active, getting at least 150 minutes of aerobic exercise and strength training, maintaining healthy weight, controlling your cholesterol, knowing your numbers, managing stress. And then I think one of the other things that's really important for South Asians is really early screening. So knowing your numbers and this is a really good way of getting a holistic approach to measuring your overall risk. And then, one of my favorite heart health hacks that I talk to my patients about and, lifestyle changes is just moving more. And this could be in the form of many different things. So aerobic exercise, will absolutely improve your cardiovascular fitness and endurance. Things like walking, cycling, swimming, dancing, which is one of my favorite forms of activity, and I'm super excited for the dance session later on that we have upcoming. Resistance training, I'm a really big proponent of strength training. Not only does it build muscle, but it improves your metabolism, improves insulin resistance, prevents osteoporosis as we age. And so I'm a really, really big fan of implementing resistance training. There's a ton of research on this, as well as it actually, also prevents and reverses diabetes, especially in South Asians. Flexibility exercises, things like stretching, yoga can improve joint range of motion, reduce your risk of injury, and also just balance training. As a cardiologist and physician, I see so many people in the hospital that come after a fall. And so just kind of, implementing this kind of movement can reduce your risk of fall, as we age. And so these are just kind of uh, little things that you can do in your daily, life just to kind of implement more movement through your day. So number one, I always say, set a schedule and stick to a structural plan. So you can allocate certain weeks and times for resistance training. Treat these sessions as non-negotiable. I think with anything, consistency is key. And start small and progress. I think when I educate my patients about heart healthy lifestyle habits, sometimes it can be overwhelming. And so I think I always say, just start where you are, start small, begin with short, manageable workouts. And then as you, build your confidence in the gym, as you build more confidence, you can increase the duration and intensity of your exercises. And it can also, reduce your risk of injury. And then body weight exercise. I think Kunal can also attest to this. We have so many clients have gone through KMAC Fitness with just doing home workouts. So, and they've, achieved incredible transformation. So you don't need fancy equipment or gym to get that benefit. I think just incorporating body weight exercises like push-ups, squats, lunges can be really beneficial. And then joining a class or group, I think participating in group fitness classes is an excellent way to kind of stay motivated and accountable. And then integrating exercise into your daily activities. So taking short walks after dinner, using the stairs instead of the elevator, doing squats while watching TV. So I think all these things, you can always incorporate some form of movement throughout your day. And I think most important is to just have fun with it. I think if you don't enjoy what you do, you're not going to stay consistent to it. You're going to fall off. And so I think most importantly is to have fun with it and do the activities you enjoy. And so when we talk about, moving more and all these lifestyle habits, I think it's important because of the power of prevention. I think early detection is key because 80% of heart disease can be preventable just through lifestyle changes. And as I mentioned, many of the South Asians develop heart disease even with normal BMI and cholesterol levels. So, I think we have to kind of sometimes go beyond the standard lipid panels and go beyond the standard risk calculators because our population hasn't really been studied as much, and so we really have to prioritize prevention and factor in all these advanced biomarkers and things like that to stay on top of it. And that's essentially why we created KMED. And so this completely redefines the way we approach fitness transformation journeys. Like Kunal mentioned, we really want to go beyond these before and after photos. It's truly a one-of-a-kind program that combines expert fitness coaching with heart health focused lifestyle guidance that's tailored specifically for the South Asian community. And it directly tackles the unique health challenges that many South Asians face. And so this program, through a combination of personalized workout regimens, heart healthy culturally tailored nutrition plan. So can still, consume a South Asian diet on this plan, stress management techniques, and the most important, the medical insights using specific lab biomarkers, because there's definitely certain hidden lab biomarkers that are not tested normally that kind of give you a better holistic approach to knowing your overall risk. So, overall, gives a holistic approach to physical transformations. You get a heart health coach, which is myself, a personal trainer and a transformation expert like Kunal, and other fantastic coaches that we have at KMAC Fitness to really create a comprehensive action plan that is personalized to your lifestyle and health goal. And, the goal of all this is to educate and empower South Asians to just take charge of their health, know their risk, and really help them achieve their fitness goals while also prioritizing heart health. And so if anyone's interested in learning more, don't hesitate to ask Kunal or myself a little bit more about this. You can find me on Instagram or email me as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Kunal and Amar, for that excellent presentation. I'm now going to open up the floor for a brief Q&A. So please feel free to either unmute yourself or message in the chat for any questions you may have about KMAC Fitness or anything more personable to either of our speakers. Okay, I actually did have a question. So I don't know if I missed this, but in order to be part of KMAC Fitness, I know that is it mainly based in London? How does one that's like from the States, how do we get that coaching and how do we get that how do we get what we would get if we were in London?
So it's funny because 90% of our clients are actually all American.
Okay.
So yeah, the beauty of me even being based in London or the team being based in London is we can coach anyone all over the world because it's all online. So like even though I've met Amro loads of times, like we us coming to the US is more like our personal preference. But most of the time, a lot of the interactions are all online throughout the year. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody
I
else?
had a question as well, actually. I think it's also like um, based on, I guess, the older generation's thinking compared to the younger generation's thinking. I was going to ask for either of you, how would you encourage the older generation to kind of step out of cultural boundaries or cultural stigmas and pursue things that help them reclaim their cardiac health?
I think, and Amar can obviously speak on this as well because he'll see a lot more older patients at the moment. But I think it's also like the cold hard facts of their labs should help them change. Like, and again, some people will be very, very stubborn. Some people will see, their report and they need to be on medication. They're like, I don't want to be on medication. They'll want to change. And I think it's just a case of like being aware of that. Again, Amar, I don't know if you want to add
Yeah.
anything to that.
No, I mean, I agree. I think I see, especially with my older patients, I think they are motivated by their own like health metrics and numbers. And I actually go through this with them and I tell them their actual overall risk. And, especially if they already had a heart attack, I think it's even more, important for them to implement these lifestyle changes. And so I think they're more inclined to do that once I kind of go over the overall health risk. And that's why I think just knowing your numbers and knowing your overall risk is so important because even for myself, like if I didn't do an advanced lipid biomarker, I would have never known that I was at least at a higher genetic risk for having heart disease earlier. And so even though I looked okay, I had a normal BMI for years before I even started with KMAC. But I think looking at my, body scan, looking at the percent of visceral fat that I talked about, looking at, my LP little a advanced lipid panel that was abnormal really made me get motivated to do something about it. And I think it's the same with my older patients.
I have kind of just a broad question, but for a lot of people, starting a health and fitness journey can seem overwhelming, and there's a lot of different changes people can make in their lives. But if you were to tell someone who feels a little overwhelmed, what are kind of the top line things you would tell them just to get started?
I,
Similar to what, which is like if you're overwhelmed to get to the gym, um, like walking is a great, way to just mentally switch off. And it physically is really, really good for you. So I'd say just aim to get like, let's say if you're getting in, it doesn't have to be 10K, but let's say you're getting in, 3K every single day, steps. Why don't you just double it towards six, right? Like just having those little things for yourself, and then work your way up towards that 10K would be like an initial checklist. And then you gauge how that feels to you. If you're like, wow, I feel really, really good. Okay, let me go in, maybe go to the gym next. And then it could be that's how most people then get into like other vectors of fitness, as I mentioned. It could be sports. If you love sports your whole life, why don't you still participate in sports? Some people it's dancing as well, get into dance, like continue that. We've got like older clients as well who don't necessarily go to the gym, but they've done things like Zumba and so on, and they want to continue that. So we allow that. So I think that's also really, really important as well.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I think just kind of getting away from I kind of learned this from Kunal from coaching is getting away from the all or nothing kind of mindset. Like I feel like, even as a physician, I give my patients all these lifestyle changes to make and you feel overwhelmed with everything. So I think if you even can walk 10 minutes or 15 minutes, that's more than you did yesterday. I think that's a win. So you don't have to do everything all at once. I think start small, start where you are. It doesn't have to be perfect. But I think just doing one thing at a time for your heart health and overall health is going to benefit you. And then you can add on to that as you get more confident, as you feel good, and your body will crave it. I think the more you move, the more workouts you do in the gym, you're going to want to do more because you're going to see that potential. You're going to want to push yourself. And so I think it's just starting where you are, starting small, and get away from this all or nothing kind of mindset when it comes to health.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Thank you.
I have a question actually. I feel like I'm at a good spot with like my fitness journey now, but I think it's always a lot easier when you have friends around you and family around you who are doing it like with you at the same time. So how would I be able to encourage like say like my friends to start coming with me or like not even like major lifestyle changes, but like how do I convince like some of my friends to start going to the gym with me?
So it's a good question. It depends on like you can't force like someone to go to the gym or want to come to the gym because it can actually do the opposite, which is like they'll never go to the gym. Um, Maybe you start talking about the benefits you've had, is a really, really good way. So you can be like, hey, I feel this way with the gym. And then suddenly that will spark curiosity. And suddenly people are like, actually, can I come with you one day? And by the way, this is a fun fact. This actually happened to me. Someone kept talking about it, the gym, because all I cared was about nutrition when I first got into it. And then someone kept talking about the gym, and I was like, actually, I think I can, yeah, why not? I was like, you handle the training program, I'll handle the nutrition. And I was like, okay, great. And then that's what happened. And then I went to the gym, and then the rest was history for me. But I think it's not necessarily like don't try and force it. I would just have open discussions, and then hopefully that sparks their curiosity as well. And then talk about the benefits you've had. Because I think people, if you talk about the benefits, people are like, I want to experience maybe some of that as well.
Hey guys, I had a quick question. This is Samir. Firstly, thank you both, Amar and Kunal. Great information, so thanks for that. Just had a quick question about nutrition. So I know, like I'm pretty active right now, but I think wherever you read about, getting into shape or getting into great health, I think nutrition is like 60 to 70% of the entire effort, right? So I think from your perspective, what are your thoughts on that? And also for someone who's trying to go into that route, what would the one step or what would you recommend, something for a brand new person who's not too much into nutrition to at least go on, at least start that journey?
Yeah. Okay, so how to get into nutrition or kind of gauging it. Amar, do you want to start and then I can chip in?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing to do is, if you do want to, improve your nutrition is start, counting your macros. I think, that may be, where you may not kind of realize where you're going wrong and not kind of achieving your goals is because you're not really understanding how much, certain food items, what macros are in certain food items. And so you'd be surprised at like how much a tablespoon of peanut butter is, so I think starting that is just kind of being more mindful of what your food, intake is, and what like nutrition value that your current meals have. And I think changing one thing at a time, will kind of help in the long run. So I think that's what helped me when I first started my journey is just starting to count my food and like see exactly what was in my food, like reading the labels and really, gram per gram, like measuring things if I had to, when I first began. And now I'm actually a lot better at it after 2, 3 years. But initially, I think that is very important and key, to sticking to your goals.
Yeah, I think because that's the quickest way to know whether you're over consuming, you're under eating. Because a lot of times people will come to us with statements of like, I've not been able to lose weight in X amount of years. I can never lose weight. My metabolism is broken. But if we get them to do this initially, and then they're like, whoa, I didn't realize it. Okay, I was actually overeating. And there used to be a TV show in England. It used to be called Secret Eaters. And it basically there'd be people coming to the show. They're like, I've never been able to lose weight. I want to, get on Weight Watchers or whatever. This was like 20 years ago, we're talking. And they basically tracked them for 7 days and they would actually calculate how much they've overeaten. There'd be a camera in the house, and every single one was overeating by like nearly 1,000 calories a day. And if you do, of course, have seven days a week, that's 7,000 calories extra. Right. And obviously that leads to, major problems. So just doing that initially is huge. And to your first question as well, like nutrition is a really, really big deal. It's probably like 80%. There's a reason why we focus a lot on nutrition. So we say we have 3 pillars to what we do. So it's nutrition, your resistance training, and then movement. And nutrition is number one because without nutrition, you can't outwork a bad diet, in my opinion. So yeah, huge.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
I also want to ask a question specifically for Dr. Sherry. You are a vegan doctor, and I was wondering like how your South Asian background sort of plays a role in, I guess like there's like a juxtaposition with like having a vegan diet and like a South Asian diet. So how do you balance that?
Yeah, so I've been vegan for 13 years now, and it's not really culturally. I think it was more when I was in medical school. I started reading a lot about the research around plant-based diets and just how helpful it is for heart disease prevention and overall health. And so I made the switch back then just because of the research and the science. And for me, I think. It hasn't really, I think a lot of South Asian food is, vegetarian by nature. So I didn't really find it very difficult, to have South Asian food or implement it in my plan. And so, yeah, I mean, I didn't really find it very difficult. I think I just incorporated, certain, increased amount of protein in my food, whenever I could, and just made simple swaps. So, instead of using paneer, I would use tofu, and, kind of, supplement protein powders and things like that. So I personally didn't find it difficult. I know there's a lot of vegan protein sources out there. I mean, there are much better than, we had like 10 years ago. So we're definitely very lucky to have a lot of plant-based options now that we can implement even in South Asian food. And so, yeah, so I didn't really find it that difficult. And that's one of the reasons why I think uh, for me, it's just for heart disease prevention. We have a ton of data on just plant forward diets. And you don't have to be vegan. A lot of people ask me, do you have to be vegan for, to get a certain physique, or do you have to be vegan to, for heart disease prevention? And you don't have to be. I think just the more plants you consume, again, it's not like an all or nothing thing. I think just the more plants you consume, the more benefit you will have.
All right, thank
Did
you
I?
again, Kunal. Oh, sorry, did I just interrupt someone?
With
Did I interrupt someone?
No, no, you're fine. I said hopefully
Okay.
give us questions.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so thank you both again for that wonderful session. I'd also like to mention really quickly before we move on to our second portion that since many of our audience members are in different time zones and may not be able to attend live, we are recording today's session to share that with them. If anyone is uncomfortable with the recording being shared, please do let us know in the chat. You can privately message Hiba, Nishat, or myself. That said, let me just get.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and resume the presentation shortly. Okay. Oh, I think Dr. Sherry has to give me host permissions back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sahini or I, one of us. So
Okay. I'll give.
I think Sahini is
Okay.
be able to. Yes.
All
Okay.
right.
Awesome. Thank you
Perfect.
so much.
All right. Sorry, guys, just give me 1 second. All right. So now we're going to welcome Susruth, a professional dancer and experienced dance instructor with a passion for blending culture and movement. Today, he'll be guiding us through a fun and energetic Bollywood dance session, so feel free to either keep your cameras on or turn them off. This is a great way to get your heart pumping while celebrating South Asian culture through movement. I'm going to now give the host permissions over to Susruth.
Hey guys, thank you for having me. My name is Susruth, and I'm a 26-year-old medical assistant. I I'm in healthcare field. I'm a medical assistant. I'm trying to go to anesthesia assistant school. While doing that, I've been dancing since I was 5 years old. Um, just I love moving. Movement is a big part of my daily routine. I do a lot of plyometrics and a lot of cardio. I'm prepping for a marathon, so big into cardiac health. And so I'm really glad and thanks for having me on this call. If if you guys are dancing, I would suggest you guys turn your camera on so I just know what we're doing and maybe I can suggest or like tweak any choreo if we need to. If not, it's all good. I'm just gonna go ahead and share my screen, stretch for like a couple 10 minutes, and then we'll dive right into it. Is that cool?
Let's do this.
Let's do it. I'm just gonna share my song so I can you guys and me we're on the same page. You don't have to watch the screen. It's just a song.
Can you try to pin your video so that you're
Okay.
like on
Yeah.
everyone's screen? Or if everyone else wants to just pin his video so you guys can see him.
I got it. There you go. Come on. Where?
I'm not sure if anyone else is having issues, but the song seems really laggy from our end.
Sorry, did anyone say anything?
Yeah,
We
I
can
was just
see you,
saying,
yeah, we can see you dancing, but I think something with the audio, um,
Hmm.
it was just
unless
really
if you have yeah,
laggy.
if you just have
Uh,
another device maybe to play the
yeah, I think
music
that'll be
from,
better. I'll
yeah,
do that. I'll
okay,
do that. I got it.
okay.
Sorry, 1 second. Is my video still pinned? Or no, I'm still sharing the screen.
I see a black screen.
Yeah, I just see a black screen.
Stop sharing. You know what? This will be better. Okay. Can you see me now? And no video.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
we can see you, yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure if anyone else is having it, but I can't hear any audio if you're playing something.
Yeah, same.
Hmm. That's weird. I am playing audio.
I can just hear like a lyric every like 10 seconds.
Same.
If you want to send me the audio even,
Uh,
I can try to play it.
well, I'm stretching now, so I'm playing any random song, but the song I'm going to teach you, I'm just going to drop the link in the channel
Okay.
so everyone can have access to it too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that
I
might
guess
be
we
easier.
can just like stretch and then when you're ready, I can try the audio.
Gotcha. Sorry, 1 second. I'm just going to text it to you. If that's easier.
That works. Okay, let me know how the audio is. Can everyone hear it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
that works now.
Whenever you're ready, Susruth, I can control that from my phone.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. 1 second. Okay. All right. All right. I'll also drop the link to audio/video in the chat, so if anyone wants to use it for reference. Can you just go play it, Tiny, so we can just see what we.
Yes.
It's just a small, it's actually like a real choreography, but it's very hype. I like it because it's still very, it's fiend, but also it's called Kutu fiend because it has like a South Indian touch to it. So that's what we'll be learning. And then if you guys are learning this, I would love to watch you guys dance too. If not, all good. We'll learn it. Let's dive into it. When it starts, we're just gonna slide into this camera, right? So we're off screen, or we can be on screen. All I'm gonna do, also, there's my left, there's my right. So I'm gonna be starting from the right side. It's gonna go 1, 2. I'm just gonna step in with my left leg, hold with your fist up, and pull towards your next to your waist. That's 1, 2. So 1, 2, and on 3, 4, I'm just gonna put my right leg behind my left leg and hit the sleep move, like Steph Curry does. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And on 5, 6, it's just like you step right, left, while you're just gonna point to the stars. To your left. This is my left hand. So 5, 6. From the top, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it goes fiend, 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 fiend. So we'll do the 5 counts first. The first 6 counts. Can you play the music?
Yeah.
Please?
Ready, set, go.
Awesome. So I slowed down the lyrics for the beginning, but I just go na 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 for the night. Something something, and then you go fiend, 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 fiend. The next 4 counts. All I'm gonna do is again, this is my left leg, so I'm gonna go step with left, right, left, right. Step forward for a couple counts and back for a couple counts. And when you do that, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Your left hand is here at all times. It's not moving. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. The only thing I'm doing is I'm just whipping. If you're like a horse rider whips, that's what I'm doing. Just go 1, 2, 3, 4. And when I step, I also move my torso to that side, that 45-degree angle. So I go 1, 2, now back, back, back. Hands they're pretty much doing the same thing. I'm not worried about that. Your body though, it goes left, right, and back left, right. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Any questions? Okay, we're gonna move on.
From
Again, let's recap it from top. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2. Okay. All right. Is anyone gonna show me and do it with me on camera? Saini, Hiba, Amar, Nishat? Nope.
I'm gonna keep learning.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Okay, I think we can move on.
I think it's also okay that we have our cameras off just because this recording will be going to like a lot of other people. So I think that's
Gotcha.
why everyone wants, yeah.
No worries, no worries. So we're gonna move on after this. I'm just gonna get through it. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4. And the next count, it's gonna pick up the pace, right? All I'm gonna do is this is my right leg. I'm gonna cross and slice like a ninja warrior. We're gonna slice it. We're gonna hit this, like literally slicing, but we hit it towards the side. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first 4 count, okay? So we're gonna go, we jump, and it's like butt kicks. We call them butt kicks. So just kick your butt when you jump, and we land to the side. So we go 1, 2, open. On 3, I'm just literally pulling my shirt and extending my chest. So from here, my chest just goes out, comes back in. So that's what's happening on 3. So on 1, slice. On 2, open. Your left hand is like here, tabletops, and your right hand is holding your shirt or collar. That's 2. On 3, I just go out, come back in on 4. Let's try that again. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. And next 4 count, all I'm gonna do is cross my feet, right leg or my left leg. So I go 5. When I do that, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So on 5, I'm gonna cross my feet. My right hand goes over my left ear. So here. And my left hand is, I'm not punching, but I'm placing it here. So 5. This is my pose at 5. So from here we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we go open on 7, 8. All I'm doing is lifting this left leg and kicking on 7, 8. So slowly it's gonna look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7, 8 is gonna be 7, 8. Can you do the music? I can show you with the music from the top.
3, 2, 1.
All right. Okay. Any questions regarding any move until that we learned until now? Okay, I'm gonna take it as a no and move on. So recapping, we just did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this fiend. I'm just jumping, hopping on my right leg, kicking it, and bringing it down. And after that, can you play the music again? So we just understand how the tune is going. Can you pause it? Thank you. So we just ended with the kick, right? So 7, 8, and from here, I just made it easier so everyone can follow. All I'm gonna do is these telephone hands or whatever you call them. They start from your sternum here, and you pull out towards your shoulder, past your shoulders actually. Go 1 and 2 and. So all I'm doing is my left leg isn't spot. I'm just turning on my left leg while I move up with my right leg. Come back to your front position and do same thing to the back. So we're here. So 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 and. And on 3, my right hand goes out, my left hand goes down. That's 3. And on 4, we're just gonna drop down and come back up. Let's try that again with my count. 5, 6. So I just ended here. From here, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Can we try that, guys, with music? Can we play the music again from top?
3, 2, 1.
All right. Okay, I lied. I naturally, when I do this, I said go up with your right hand and left hand will be at the bottom. But I naturally do my left hand up because I'm also a lefty. You do what's comfortable to you. It's just personal preference. So, but we start here. When we go down, we switch our arms, and when we come back up again, we switch them back up. That's it. That's a catch. Okay. Let's recap from where it goes faster. So from here. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and. Can we play one more time and then we'll move on?
3, 2, 1.
All right. Okay, moving on. We just finished. So as soon as you go down, come back up. I'm here. Let me do this. So I'm here. From here, all I'm gonna do is step to the right, and so step, gather, step, gather. Actually, move it down. You can see my feet. So here, if you can see my feet, all I'm gonna do is tap, step. Oh no, step actually. Step, tap, step, tap, step, tap, step, tap. You're gonna do this for 2 counts. So after you go drop, come back up, you're just gonna go step, tap, step, tap. And when you're doing that, your arms are gonna be here. Remember the telephone hands? We're gonna keep that here. So you're just gonna go fiend, fiend. This is gonna go up and down in your chest area. Not a lot, so just here. So yeah. So we just finished here, and then we're gonna go 1 and 2 and. That's your next 2 counts. After you do 2 and, you do the same thing, but you hip thrust. So when I say hip thrust, I'm just gonna go 1 and 2 and. You know what helps? Clapping helps. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna start from here. I'm just going to it, okay? So we go 1 and 1 and 2 and. You can prep with this on one I open and also push my butt back. So I can it's for I'm prepping to do thrust. On thrust, I thrust and I clap. And same thing on the side. So I go here, I prep for it, and then go clap when I thrust. And this is towards a 45-degree. I'm not completely to the sides or the audience or forward. I'm slightly diagonal. So 45-degree angle, okay? So let's start from here. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. That's actually almost done with the trend, the choreography. Can we actually do with music and see how we feel?
Yep. 3, 2, 1.
All right, so we're almost done because we're actually done with the choreography. We just went 1, 2, 3, 4, hip thrust, and after that, it's my right leg. I'm just gonna lift it. I'm just gonna punch. It's I'm not punching someone, but I'm I'm just just like a bully. Just just like a South Indian actor or something. So we go show them that you're gonna punch. And it's nah, I'm not gonna do it. And then you're gonna turn and throw that tunka. So 1, 2, 3, where it goes fiend, 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 fiend. And that's the end. Can we try all together? Any questions before we move on? Try it again. No questions. Okay, we're gonna move on. Signy, can you play the music? So
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
All right. That is the choreography for today. And if you're doing it right, you'll be sweating like me. Your heart rate will be racing like mine. So, yep, that's
All
a
right.
class.
So in the chat, do you want to put your like Instagram maybe so that if anyone does do the video, they can maybe send it to you so you can see or follow you
Absolutely.
for
Yes,
um
and please tag me and SAHHI so we know where we learned this choreography. It's on this call, but yes, I'll do that right now. Sorry.
once you do that, I'll take back the host.
All right. Okay. How do I do this now? Just make you the host?
Yeah, just make me the host.
Thank you. I hope you had fun too.
All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so then thank you, Susruth, for that energizing Bollywood dance session. We hope to actually get videos from our many other members that couldn't join live, but will be getting this video. So thank you all for joining us today. We're incredibly grateful to our wonderful guests, Kunal, Dr. Amar, and Susruth for sharing their time, expertise, and energy with us. Their insights helped us see how movement, whether that be through their exercise or their nutrition goals, align with what our takeaways were for today. And a big thank you to our audience